In today's episode of Manabonded, Zack enters his jigsaw era.
And you have to decide who gets hit by the train.
Josh describes why we should cancel our Amazon Prime. When you order something on Amazon, you're kingmaking Bezos. Nate reads the note Jigsaw left for him.
Okay, trolley problem. Let me decide who dies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Manabonded, the Magic the Gathering advice show that's just tired. I'm Josh, your host, and I'm joined today by my two co-hosts, Nate and Zach. Say hey, guys.
Hey guys,
I'm also tired.
how's it going?
It's been a week, hasn't it? Some things
really
have gone
has.
down, magic related, world related. We won't go into it, but it's been a week, hasn't it?
It
Very
most
much
definitely
so.
has.
Yeah. So we get you, we feel you, we're with you. But we're gonna try to be a place to be a little bit more positive this week, a little bit happier this week, so you can kind of take a break from all that. So first things first, I want to talk to you guys about some non-magic news that I'm excited for. Fable is coming out soon. I think this year, right?
Yeah, this fall.
This fall. I am,
Yep.
and I'll admit, I have not played the original Fable. I think I played a little bit of Fable 2 when I was a kid. Um, but I am very intrigued by a lot of the stuff I've been seeing with it.
Right.
Yeah, Fable's good.
I'm gonna be honest. Fable 2 is peak Fable. Like Fable 1 has some cool stuff. It sets the genre, sets the archetype, but Fable 2 is the one I played the most. Introduces your dog friend, which is a big hit with everybody. Unfortunately, this game will not have a dog, and that's okay. You know.
Oh, well, never mind. Now I'm not as excited.
Yep. No puppers in this one.
I'm also sad that they got rid of the when you do good deeds at the end
Mm.
of the game, you'll get like angel wings, or if you do bad
Yeah.
deeds, then you get more demon.
I like
Yeah.
that they made it
you have
less
like
throw a
black
horn.
and I like that they made it less black and white, though. They said it's not just good makes you
Yeah.
good, bad makes you bad. It's, you know, if you're doing well in a merchant role, some people might think of you as successful. Other people might think that you're sort of a rich dirtbag. That's kind of a cool little thing, to have these unique takes. And I know they claim over 1,000 unique handcrafted NPCs for you to interact with, who are all going to have different opinions and different sort of reactions to the things you do. Can I just say another game that promised over 1,000 unique things and they turned out to be just terrible?
No, we don't need to bring up the Field of Stars.
It was bad, and that's what they promised. I'm just saying, Fable, if it does it, it'll be great, but I'm going to keep my hopes pretty tempered on that side.
They did specifically say non whatever generative or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
not procedurally generated, right?
There you go. That's
They
what it
won't
is.
be created as you play. They are already pre-made, basically.
And that's part of Starfield's issue is there's certain planets that are set, and then a lot of the other ones are, I think, set by name and set by a couple other things, but they're not generated until you get there
Yeah.
or you discover them.
We'll see, but I'm interested, and surprisingly enough, my wife has also shown some interest in Fable, and
I always make games better.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a game that you can enjoy together and both like to play. It first started out, so my wife, I don't know if I've told the story on the podcast before, but my wife is not a gamer, right? Does not play a lot of games. She learned how to play Magic for me. She promised she would in our wedding vows, and that was cute, but she's not somebody who plays a lot of video games. Well, about 2 years into our marriage, she comes up to me, and she's like, hey, there's this video game that actually looks kind of interesting and I kind of want to try it. Are you willing to, can we get it? And I'm like, I mean, it depends. What game is it? She's like, it's called Baldur's Gate, I think. And I'm like, Baldur's Gate 3? And this was right after it had come out, right? And she's like, yeah, it looks kind of fun. And I'm like, you're interested in that? Okay, I'm not going to complain. And like a week later, the job I worked at the time, I was maintenance for an apartment complex. And one of the things that'll happen is oftentimes when people move out, they'll decide to not clean up everything and they'll just leave behind things they don't want anymore, right? Because they're like, the maintenance will clean it up, the apartments will clean it up, I don't have to, right? And our apartment complex's policy was anything that's left behind becomes property of the company. And the company's policy was, if you want it, take it. So I walk into this apartment to get it ready to turn over to the new tenant, and somebody had left a PS2 with a bunch of games and like a guitar controller and a ton of other stuff. And I'm like, oh, this
wow,
is cool. Nice. So I take it home. That night, we head out to like a just sort of rec league soccer game, like an adult league soccer game that a couple of our cousins and aunts and uncles play in. And I was talking to our cousin, and he's like, yeah, I just bought Baldur's Gate 3. It's super fun. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm like, yeah, I want to get it, but I just, waiting for a paycheck, basically. And then the conversation kept moving. I told him that I found this PS2, and he was like, oh, dude, can I have that? And I'm like, yeah, I'll sell it to you. It was like $50 or something, right? So not that bad. And then we ended up talking, and he's like, well, actually, how about I just give you the PS2 and you buy me a copy of Baldur's Gate 3? And he said, deal. So I basically got Baldur's Gate 3 for free. I installed it that night. And on my Steam account, Baldur's Gate 3 has close to 900 hours. I'm going to check the official time right now. 890 hours on Baldur's Gate 3. It is my third most played game on my profile. I personally have maybe put 20 to 30 hours into that game. My wife has put in the other 850.
Oh, wow.
That's hilarious.
To put that into perspective, Terraria, a game that I've beaten several times and enjoy, less than 400 hours. Warframe, a game I played for years, has 450 hours. My wife has put 850 hours into Baldur's Gate 3. She loves that game. And so for me, I'm like, well, Fable is potentially another one that we can try out, right? That she can try and see if she likes. It's an RPG, similar, right? You've still got some romance options and all these things, but it's a different style of combat. So I'm interested to see how she does with that.
Well, and this one, you can also get married and have kids.
Right.
And then, you can go Mogul Tycoon on this one if you really want to.
Right, you can just play it as
you can be
medieval
a humble blacksmith.
Yeah, you can play it as medieval blacksmith simulator with a wife and kids if you want,
Right.
It looks very interesting.
I love the Fable games. Fable 3 was not quite as fun, mostly because the big you had a couple big decisions in the middle of the game or towards the end of the game that you had to do, and that was rough unless you had a lot of money. So you either had to make bad choices to get money, or you had to basically play loot hero for ages, which was one of the jobs. You could just be a musician.
That's incredible, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I imagine it'll be like a $70 game or so, which, not my favorite thing to see, but I get it,
That is the new normal.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
I mean...
unless you're an indie game, then you can go lower, like Silk Song being $20.
Yeah. I think there's
you could charge more.
There's tiers, right? So AAA titles that are the gun ball games, right? Call of Duty, FIFA, all those things, right? They're going to ask $70 now. That's just how they're going to do. Big games from other studios can be anywhere from the 40 to 60 range, and then indie games are usually 20 and below, right? And it's not always the case. Like, technically, I feel like Helldivers felt like a bit more of an independent game because it didn't come from a studio that had made a lot of bigger things before.
That's fair.
And they asked $40.
That's very true.
Right. And it's totally worth $40, by the way, people. If you haven't tried Helldivers 2, it's still a ton of fun with friends. I love it.
Yeah.
And Arc Raiders, again, $40, but a ton of fun, right? So definitely give that one a try if you're willing to. I know, still on the topic of other video games, Marathon is coming out in a month, and I am tentatively interested. For those who don't know, Marathon is another extraction shooter similar to Escape from Tarkov or Arc Raiders, but this one is going to be made by Bungie. The classic Halo guys, the guys who've been running Destiny for the last 10 years, they are putting out a new game, and I'm interested because Bungie historically puts out decent games. But it's had a rough lead up to its launch. I don't know how much you guys followed the news about Marathon, but they got in a lot of hot water after the closed beta test finished because a artist online was like, "Hey, all of the artwork that you're seeing was almost directly ripped from a portfolio I made in 2017. And they showed proof, they showed a bunch of stuff, and they filed a lawsuit. It was a bit nasty. I think they just settled out of court, and Bungie either worked with them or I don't know what happened, right? But that was a thing that happened. There's also been a lot of concerns from the closed beta about how the game was working and how the gameplay felt, and so it's I'm worried that it will fail and that Bungie will just go under after this because they're not in a great spot. But I am optimistic, I'd say, to try. I want this to succeed for them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I haven't seen anything about the game, but I'll take a look. I like Bungie's work for the most part.
Yeah. They did good with the original Halo series. And for all its faults, I still really enjoy Destiny. So,
Understandable.
all right. You guys ready for some questions, though?
Absolutely.
All right.
I
Let's
have a
start.
question. Are you ready for questions?
Yeah, I'm good. All right, let's start here. So, first question is going to come at us from cflow _ Thank you for the legible name. On the r/EDH subreddit, they say, "At what point do you become the kingmaker? A few weeks ago, I played a game where I wasn't sure whether I would become a kingmaker or not. Player 1 needed one more turn to win the game. Player 2 was unable to do anything. I, player 3, could remove exactly one permanent, which would have stopped player 1 from winning. However, if I stopped player 1, player 4 would most likely have won the game instead. On my turn, I told the other players all I could do is remove one permanent, but doing so would only help player 4 win the game. I said that I didn't want to be a kingmaker, so I chose to do nothing. After the game, player 4 told me that in his opinion, I should always stop a player who's clearly about to win on their next turn, even if I would lose anyway. In my opinion, if the game has reached the end game and is already effectively over for me, I prefer to let the other players finish the game without my interference. What do you think?" What's your thoughts on this? We'll start with you, Nate. What are you kind of thinking?
I am kind of thinking that, especially if it's like high level, if it's CDH, there definitely has been games where I've been like, okay, I'm down and out, and there's nothing I can really do. But there's been a lot of games where I'm like, I'm just gonna keep trying, and then I end up pulling out the game. Or, I mean, in a lot of CDH tournaments, early rounds, a draw is perfectly fine because there's gonna be a lot of those. So I'm playing for the win, basically no matter what, unless, end of the night, last game, there's no way I'm getting in the finals. There's no way I'm getting anywhere crazy, and I'm just like, I just want to go home. I'll let you guys finish the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time, I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna interact.
Yeah. What about you, Zach? What's your take here?
Yeah, 100%. If this is CDH, you offer a draw here. There's no point, not to. And then if they don't agree, then you just stop the player who's currently trying to win.
Yeah.
Similar to what I think player 4 said after the game, because there's one player is absolutely going to win versus maybe player 4 wins. There's a chance he doesn't, right?
Right.
So you make that choice because that's the highest chance of getting the draw or getting the win, because it's not guaranteed, so that's your highest chance of you having another turn. Because a lot of times you are just kind of playing to get another turn, and then hopefully you can win on that turn. But if it's a casual game, it's a little bit tougher, especially with kingmaking. But sometimes you just have to kingmake, because it's you have to be playing to what you can play. And if you can only stop one player, it still gives you another chance at least to continue on.
Yeah.
So there's no point not to, because sometimes it just comes down to the luck of the draw of the player order of play order, who went first, who went second, who went third, and who went fourth. Sometimes you just get priority bullied, and you just have to. Somebody else is gonna win if you stop them, but because you're priority and you have to do something, you gotta at least make an action, right? You have the option to do it. I mean, you could sandbag it and just say, "Oops, I forgot." Especially in casual, you could probably play that one off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
overall, in casual, it doesn't really matter. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. If one player's gonna win, you stop them. The other player wins. Cool. Play again. Like,
Yeah. I think
Right.
he mentions that, like, I didn't want to be a kingmaker, so I chose to do nothing, right? That he prefers to just have inaction when it comes to these final end game decisions, right? Who's going to win, who's going to lose? If I have the chance to stop one player, but the other player will win, I'm just not going to choose. And to that I say, you are choosing. Inaction is a choice, and if you choose to not do anything, then it's on you as much as it would have been if you chose to do something. That is a very broadly applicable statement, by the way. Inaction is as much a choice as action.
Yeah.
When you decide that, oh, I don't want to, use my removal here that will stop one player but help another player to win, what you are saying is, I don't want you to win, I will let the other player win. Right? I am not willing to act to stop you, but I am willing to not act to let the other player win. And to me, that's the same thing. You're still choosing who wins. You're still choosing how the game ends. Just because you didn't cast a spell does not mean you did not make an action.
Right.
for sure.
I completely agree. I have had games where my kingmaking has been, oh, I have an answer for this one thing, but I know the next player is going to win. And I'd rather have this guy that doesn't get a win very often because I mostly play casual.
Yeah, in
I'd
a
rather have
casual
this
game,
guy
that's a very
Yeah.
fair way to take it.
right? I'm like, oh, this guy hasn't won, very much, and he's popping off. I could stop him, but then the guy who's playing a higher power deck is going to pop off on his turn. I'll just let it go through.
Yeah,
For sure.
I'm not going to win.
and it's
I mean,
total. I'll totally
Yeah.
say that, like, in a casual game at an LGS, there have definitely been times where I'm in a pod with a player I don't like and an underdog, and I will do everything to stop the player I don't like from winning. If this was a scenario, right, I can stop the player I don't like from winning and the underdog will win. I take that in a heartbeat, dude. I will happily, let some, like, outside influence affect me in a casual game and be like, no, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a win. That's fair, I think. That's totally understandable in a casual setting. This
Yeah,
does
especially
get,
with no stakes.
no
Absolutely.
stakes, casual game. Even if you're with your buddies and you just want to spite your buddy and be like, no, screw you, you don't get a win. Like, that's fine.
And then
Who
do
cares?
like a joking manner and be like, ha ha, ha, you lost. Like,
Sucks to suck, bro. I don't know what to
yeah.
tell you.
yeah, because you're friends. That's
Yeah.
what you do.
But I definitely agree. This is a lot different in a CEDH pod, which it doesn't sound like he was, so it's not like a huge deal. But in a CEDH
Right.
pod, I do think it's always the best move to stop the active win, because there is a chance that what you think will be an active win afterwards will not be. Right? There's always a chance that the player that you think is going to just pop up and win afterwards won't. They'll mess up their line, somebody else will draw something in the meantime, right? You always want to try to stop the active win in CEDH.
You might draw something
Yeah.
because, study's a really big thing.
Yeah.
It's like the player who chose to go for the win knows that they chose to do that. And if someone can stop them, they should stop them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or if it is CDH, you could always politic and be like, hey, I have this and I can stop you. But if I stop you, this player's going to win or is most likely to win. Would you not go for the win so that I can stop them from winning, or I can just stop you? And then kind of push that reasoning onto them of like, you either lose or you can keep playing and just not go for the win at this moment, or like wait another turn or something to like give other people more options to also help stop them or win yourself, either way. But like you can also politic that way and be like, hey, I don't want to stop you from or I don't want to have to stop you from winning and like king make this way, but I will if I have to. There's always an option of that player not doing that action and not going for the win in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in this scenario, Seaflow, you still were the kingmaker. Just you were the kingmaker via your inaction. Like, at that point, there is no way to not be the kingmaker. If you are holding the critical piece of removal, that will either stop player 1 or player 4, and you are the only one in this scenario who will react before either one of them gets a chance to win. In this situation, you're the kingmaker whether you like it or not. You choosing to do nothing is the same as choosing to remove the permanent. Your actions, one way or another, will lead to one of the players winning. So at that point, either just cast it or don't, but I don't think you get to pretend that you weren't kingmaking.
Yeah, 100% kingmaker, but you're the kingmaker by letting somebody do their cool thing.
Yeah. And I don't think it's a terrible thing to say that you're the kingmaker, right? I think it has a pretty negative connotation in when it's like spite based, you know? When you're kingmaking somebody because, you know, I actually just don't like you, or I don't think you should win. That sort of kingmaking, I think, especially in a competitive setting, really feels bad. But I don't think it's a bad thing to basically say, you know, I do have this piece of removal. This other player feels like the underdog, and I really want to give them a better chance, so I'm going to remove your permanent and let the underdog try to go for it. I don't think that's a problem.
And it's just like inherently a thing that 4-player games are going to have.
Yeah.
No matter what you try to do, it's going to come up. Like there's going to be moments like that where you have to either choose to stop someone and let someone else win. It's just the way of the game.
Yeah. I think it's a good point, Zach, because this is something that, you know, definitionally cannot happen in a 2-player game. And I think that's where a lot of the feel bad comes from with a kingmaking play, where in a 2-player game, if you lose or win, it is on your skill, basically. It is between you and variance whether or not you're going to win the game, right? And I think that's a lot easier for people to swallow, right? People still complain about the variance, and they always will, but they need to grow up. And it's between you and variance whether or not you win. In a 4-player game, it's not anymore. It's between you and variance, and the variance of 3 other players, and 3 other sets of variance in how they draw and how they play. So it's so many more variables, and I think it leads to a lot more bad feelings when you feel like it was something that you couldn't control. People already don't like it when variance, you know, the thing that they don't have a ton of control over, is the reason they lose. But to make it so that there are effectively like 4 or 5 more areas where you have no control definitely makes it so that you can feel bad quicker.
100%. And there's a lot of deck variance too. Like you can't force your opponents to play certain cards. Like they gotta choose every card in their deck when you're playing Commander. So it's like someone's deck could be completely different than what you expected it to be.
Yeah.
And that could cause a situation where you feel bad. Like, oh, shoot, I assumed you had a much scarier deck than you did. Or maybe your Commander was way worse than I thought it was going to be, or something like that. But like, it's going to happen.
Right.
It's just how it is with 4-player games. And that's a lot of the communication and politicking kind of mitigates that, but it also kind of feeds into it as well. So
yeah,
I have 2 suggestions for this player. First suggestion: start thinking about kingmaking in your regular life. Every time you go get a coffee or make a decision, think about kingmaking. Which one am I kingmaking? And then it normalizes kingmaking, and then you feel less bad about it.
Yeah, when you're buying a coffee at Starbucks, you are kingmaking the CEO of Starbucks because you're just giving them money. When you order something on Amazon, you're king-making Bezos.
When you put a tip in the tip jar, you're king-making, you know,
the employees.
A little bit. The employees.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So normalize king-making in your life, and it won't feel as bad when it happens in game.
Absolutely.
And it might also change how you live your life. So
yeah, and at some point, after normalizing king-making, you'll find a lake that you like, and you'll take a sword with you. And you'll just sit in the lake and you'll hold up this sword and you'll wait for somebody that you think should be the king. And then you'll give them that sword and they'll become the king of England.
And you are the ultimate king maker.
Exactly.
Yep.
You might have to become half fish.
The lady in the lake.
Yeah, you probably should bring a scuba tank. Yeah.
You might be there for a while.
Yeah, who knows?
And if the sword might get rusty, just be a little careful. Probably bring some like cleaning wipes.
And they might have some questions, like, you know, if they find the sword in a lake somewhere in West Virginia, they might have questions about how it makes them the king of England, but don't worry about it. That's not your problem. That's for the lawyers to figure out.
That's the king's problem. Yeah, that's the king's problem to figure out.
That's their problem.
Your job is done. Yeah, your job is done at that point. And then I guess you can, after that's fulfilled, I guess you can just do whatever you want to do. I mean,
your
life purpose has been done. You've king made.
Go play some more Magic.
I just see a person being in a lake for like 30 years, and then somebody finally comes to take the sword, like, finally, my job's done.
Yeah,
Dust off my
This is my
hand.
moment.
Let's leave.
what did the lady in the lake do after she gave out the sword, right?
Went
These
back
are the
into
questions
lake.
we need answered. Yeah, these are the questions we need answered.
Doesn't she at the end of the story, don't they just throw the sword back in the lake or something
Yeah.
like that? And
Yeah.
so the lady's
As
just like
he's
waiting
dying,
for
they
it.
toss it back in.
Yeah, that
Yep.
seems
Let me get-
weird.
She takes it back. She's like, "All right, mine again."
Nice.
All right, well,
It's it's a fun thing.
Second suggestion. I think we should set up a trolley problem where you have the players on the track and you have to decide who gets hit by the train and is king made.
who is king made and who dies?
Yeah, it's called kingmaking. Somebody has to die. Like, that's the whole point.
I guess. See, I just think if we're gonna set up a trolley problem, can we do it with like model trains? And then
I guess
you
we
can
could do
just
that.
like
It'd probably be cheaper.
you stick their head
And
on the
mean-
track facing the trolley so that when it
If-
hits them, it just hits them in the nose and it just kind of stings a little bit.
what's
It
that
goes
scene
pulls the
from-
Ant-Man.
Yeah, the Ant-Man. The Ant-Man
Exactly.
scene where it's like, and there's just a toy train. You're like, oh, okay.
One of the best
No,
scenes.
That
see,
would probably
or-
be cheaper. That would be cheaper, and it would be you're already in a hobby store or a game store, so like maybe they already have the trains available. So
Or you could just build a Voltron deck that you just go, okay, trolley problem. Let me decide who dies.
If you don't even want
There
to
you go.
decide
True.
that, Ruhana the Fomori, you're not making any decisions anymore. You're just putting stuff on him and seeing where he goes.
Yeah, but then it gets past the trolley question.
Yeah.
I did think about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You could also just play
But-
like Slicer or Alexios and
True.
just say, "Hey, you guys are king making yourself. Who dies first? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't choose it. Right?
Yeah.
My hands are tied. You could be like, what's the guy in the Bible with Jesus, where he's like he like washes his hand. Pilate.
Yeah.
Pirate. Yeah.
He's
Mr.
the
Pirate, and he washes his
Arr.
hands. He's like, haha, I didn't do anything. I just played the card.
Yeah.
But that's not really me doing it. It's you guys doing it.
Yeah. And just like it says in the Bible, that doesn't actually make you completely unaccounted. Or what am I trying to say? It
Yeah.
doesn't make
I
you
beg to
free
differ.
from
It
anything.
doesn't absolve you of accountability.
Yes, thank you. It doesn't absolve you of any of the accountability of you because you decided to do nothing.
Unless they go to the bathroom and wash their hands like Pilate did. That's the whole point. Or bring your own sink, and then you can always wash your hands. And
You could do
nothing's
like
your
you did.
problem.
Just a bowl of
Yeah.
water and wash it right in front of the crowd. Be like, I'm done with you. You guys suck.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. And you're at a game store and they have water. You could probably just buy water and use like your deck box, fill it up, splash, 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 splish, splash. I'm taking a bath. Boom.
Done.
No problem
Oh.
at all.
With
And
the
then-
with the unfortunate hygiene of Magic players, they might need that splish splash. Take a bath.
Right.
They might. That is true.
All right. You guys ready for the next question?
Yeah.
All right.
Question 2?
So this question, and I think it's a little bit personal for me because I do this a lot. How bothersome is it to be in a pod with someone who points out when rules aren't followed properly, not in a nitpicky way? And this post is by Ashbear. Legible name. Thank you very much. And they've broken it up into like tabs, but I'm just gonna give the base overview of the context and the question. So the context, they say, I have begun to notice that some players in pods I will play with subtly resent me, and sometimes not so subtly, target me in games where I point out rules and or missed triggers. I have also had positive feedback where people have expressed gratitude about my rules knowledge being applied to a game. So how do I know if I'm being too much when trying to maintain a pod that is fun, but also playing by the rules? He mentions a couple rules interactions where things have happened and people have felt negatively about it, such as telling a Miss Bumbleflower player that when you cast a creature spell, you don't get to put the 1/1 counter from Miss Bumbleflower's triggered ability onto the creature that you just cast, because the
Absolutely.
cast happens first, not the creature.
Yep.
And then the Bumbleflower player being ticked off about it and killing them over pointing out that, hey, you can't do this. And then another situation where one player scooped on their turn in response to attack triggers, and this player was next and they said, hey, I'm going to do something on your end step. And another player said, well, there is no end step. He scooped. It's just your turn now. The player said, no, that's not quite right. The turn still progressed through all phases to the end step, and then I still get a priority chance right there in the end step, which is true. So how do you balance that line of reminding people the rules without being that guy, the kid from Polar Express, basically?
It's easy. Let me tell you. All right. Back in the day, there was a show. It's still going on, I think, actually. And there was a guy who was quite large. And he had this thing. There's like rules to society. And his let me Google his name real quick.
I'm really worried where this is going.
Oh yeah, you're worried where this is going? Well, just you wait. It's gonna be good.
I don't know where this is going either. I'm like, I have no idea what's actually bringing up.
Okay. All right.
Well, with the information we have, I don't know yet.
This is my bestie named Jorgen von Strangle.
What?
And if you don't know that name, okay, he is the extremely large buff fairy from Fairly Odd Parents who has kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger vibes. All right.
Gotcha.
And he carries around this thing. And it's called The Rules.
The Rules, baby.
So, what you need to do is you need to become extremely buff, extremely strong. Dress up like Jorgen von Strangle. Have a copy of the large-ass book of The Rules. And put it on the table anytime someone has a rules violation.
Oh my gosh.
And then pull to the rules. And they're going to love it. They're going to love you so much.
Now I just want a ginormous 3-ring binder with the magic comprehensive rules and just put the rules on the front of it and slam it down every time somebody has a rules disagreement, man. No, this is incredible. This is the best way to do it. And if you carry around a big wand with a star at the end, even better.
That could be your deck box.
It's true. And the handle could be your dice bag thing.
Okay.
That would be so cool.
Pull your dice out. Ooh. Yeah, and then you can make a spinner thing for your life total.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could be a great design for a 3D printable box.
I'm seeing nothing wrong with this plan. I think your friends are going to love it, actually.
No, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Jorgen von Strangle is your role model here.
Yep. On to the next question, right?
Yeah, let's go.
I think we're just...
All right. Well, the next question is from you, Nate. What do you got for us?
Okay. So
no, we can't just skip over this.
No, we answered it. I don't know what you're talking about, Zach.
Jorgen von Strangle would agree. We did answer it. I mean,
we answered it. That's enough.
He would agree. Okay. On a little bit more serious note for that question, I think the only time that I like correcting the rules is if it affects the game dramatically and tone goes a long way. So as somebody who has spent a long time working with kids, sometimes I treat Magic players like children. Not in the condescending, I'm speaking down to you way, because I didn't do that with kids either.
They need to be. It's how they need to be treated sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, some kids are... Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Magic players.
Yeah, some Magic players, actually.
No.
Magic players need to be condescended to because, they're
mentally
just
they are kids.
But when I'm talking to people about rules, I'm like, well, this is how it goes. And I kind of explain how it works. If it's not something that actually affects the board and somebody does it slightly out of sequence, like the Bumbleflower thing I would have called out too. Because I'm like, that can't be there. It's a spell on the stack. But I'm going to be like, hey, this spell is still on the stack. It's not a creature yet, so it can't be the target of that ability. Yeah. I'd explain it something kind of like that, where I'm not like, you can't target that. Yeah. Tone is a big thing.
You stupid idiot. You're trying to target something on the stack. Exactly. What's wrong with you? In my Christian Minecraft Magic player server? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Don't go the actually. Yeah. Be more of the hey, this is how it works.
Yeah.
Like here, let me explain why and why this doesn't work the way you want it to work. It's like, sure, I would love to draw 10 cards on my draw step. The rules say I can't, but Who cares about the rules?
Yeah, Rule
Right,
0 can
and-
only
and-
go so far in these rules, and you can't just ignore the rules of the game because you want it to work a different way.
Uh-huh. And then with the conceding thing, I would just be like, okay, well, if you're saying I can't do it in the end, I'm just saying I did it in response to him conceding. Because technically the end step is there. I don't care enough to fight somebody over it. I'd be like, okay, in response to them scooping then, and then I'd just do it anyway.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
player scoop
So,
scenarios, it's like I usually just ask the other two players, like, "Hey, are
Yeah.
you guys okay if I like assume that he was alive and I did my thing or like this thing happened? Like, are you guys good going through the steps? Because that's what we should do." But if they like
right.
all of their power and they're like, I don't think so, then who cares? I mean, it's a casual game. Who cares? Like,
Right.
cool,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, if you guys absolutely don't want me to get an end step trigger or their end step trigger or whatever, cool. I guess whatever.
Yeah, and there's some things that I feel like are definitely worth fighting about more. Not like fighting, but trying to resolve more. Because it is a big thing to me to play the rules correctly. Like, whenever I play a board game or any game, I want to know how the rules work, and that's why I've spent a good amount of time trying to understand how the Magic rules work, is because I want to make sure I'm doing it right, because even little things to me can end up making a big difference, and I also don't want people to leave a game with me and continue to play wrong and have it affect other games. If we have players who are, like, ignoring priority or players who are misplaying their cards, I don't want them to keep misplaying those cards in the future, because that might affect other players' games and other players' enjoyment. So I try to fix whatever mistakes I do see and teach them in a way that's like, that isn't quite how that works. And sometimes it just does boil down to RTFC, read the full card. And
Nice way of putting it.
Yep. Sometimes that's just what it boils down to, is you just miss the part where it says those things enter tapped, or you only do this once a turn. I remember I was in a game with your brother, Zack, and he had built a Sephiroth of the Hidden Ways deck, and he was really excited about it. And he, milled over a creature, and so he triggered Sephiroth to venture into the dungeon, and then on the same turn, a thing died, so he tried to venture again. And I'm like, actually, you don't get to. It only happens once a turn. And he looked down at his card, and he said, "Oh, I guess I just need to rebuild this deck because I completely misread my commander." And that is, like, to me, one of the worst feelings you can have when you, like, completely misunderstood what a card does, built around it entirely, and then you get to the game and realize you're wrong. Like, that feels bad.
It does. It feels really bad. You're like, I thought it worked this way.
I almost did a similar thing with the new Marilyn.
Yeah?
She's an
The new
interesting
fairy elf.
theft commander. Yeah. Because she lets you steal things, and she lets you cast them for free, but you can only cast the things you stole the turn you stole them.
Oh.
So that's part of the reason why I don't think she's played as much as other thief commanders are, because it's a little bit tricky, because you have to get elves or fairies out to exile things that you might want to cast, and then be able to cast at this turn. So it's a lot more not straightforward and clear, like at first glance.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
For sure.
Yeah. I only noticed it because we did a draft this last Friday, and I got her pack one, pick one. So I'm like, I'm going for it.
Yeah, why not?
And then once I built it, I was playing a game with somebody, and I'm like, well, I should make sure I know exactly how this works. And so I read it, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
that's
I
fair.
used it to mill them out anyway, so it's all good to me.
So yeah, it worked out anyways, yeah.
I still want to
He's
try it,
also
I
playing
think.
elf in this deck, so I steal his elf, I exile more cards. It's great.
I think I want to try building Marilyn, though. This does look fun.
She does
Yeah.
look like a pretty
I
cool one.
really enjoy theft decks, but I find that I struggle with theft decks to close out the game. I have a...
And she's the easy way to win it.
Yeah, I have a Gonti, the Sultai Gonti from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I've built him. And the deck is basically just ramp and unblockable creatures, and then I just try to steal win conditions from other players. And it sort of works, but I feel like if I build Marilyn, I'd probably lean more into the fairies and the flash, and fairies historically have a lot better time winning than just random 1/1 unblockable creatures.
Yeah. If you are wanting to do Gonti and make it a little bit better, you can always put in the 13th Doctor. Witch of the Coast does a great job making characters I don't like in other things, cards I do like in Magic, because
Oh,
I really
yeah.
like the 13th Doctor. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere but your hand, get a +1/+1 counter on a creature, end step, untap all creatures with counters on them. Roughly what
Okay.
she says.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm seeing it now. Yeah, I actually have her somewhere because I wanted to build a Play
right.
from Exile deck with loot. I still
Yeah.
do, but
So I really like her, and then the companion that lets you exile the top card of your library. That's a deck I had put together for a long time. It kind of got solved, and I, for the most part, don't like playing solved decks. That's part of the fun I have of doing things. I like brewing. There's some notable exceptions, like my pantheon of the three. Hazazon, Alicia, and then Bumbleflower. Those are 3 decks that I'm like, I don't care. These will be my pet decks that I have until something else knocks them off.
right.
That is
But yeah,
true. That is true.
that's a great way to go with Thieves is something like the 13th Doctor, and doesn't work great for Gonti, but it does work for some of the Grixis ones. Stuff like Passionate Archaeologist
Yes.
is a great background, because then you go, oh, I'm just going to
Does a lot
start
of
shooting
damage.
you for the spells.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
And only 2
watch
mana.
out.
Pretty good.
Watch out when we do the name game. When we do the name game, you guys are going to get hit by Passionate Archaeologist, because that's obviously going to the deck. It came in the layer with Nate.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Drake.
I was like, what name
Yep.
game? Oh,
That's
yeah, I
true.
forgot
That's true.
that the 3 of us plus our buddy Tristan all now officially have Magic the Gathering cards named after us. And so now we are going to try to get decks built around the characters with our names. Can I just say, though, I got a huge upgrade in the character with
Yeah.
my name.
Yeah.
I went from that Final Fantasy legend that's like fun and kind of cool, like I like it, right? I have a deck with it, to a reskinned version of Ishin, Two
Ishin?
Heavens as One.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is such a wild upgrade. I'm so
Quite
switching to
an
that guy. And can I just say, totally off topic, I did some digging into the lore of Joshua Graham, right? Who is the reskin version of this guy.
A Fallout guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And I asked my sister about it as well, Melly, because she is
Shout
a big
out, Melly.
Fallout. Yeah, huge shout out to Melly. She's a big Fallout New Vegas fan. And I was like, so what's the story with this guy? I asked,
Who
like,
this guy?
I literally sent the picture of the card to her, and I said, hey, is this guy, like, cool? Like, is he like, all right? And she's like, well, in the lore? And I'm like, yeah. And she talks about how in the lore, he and the guy that went on to become Caesar went to Arizona. And
I'm sorry, you mean Kaiser?
well, he actually still calls him Caesar, apparently. Everyone else calls him Kaiser.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Those two were basically friends. The way that she puts it is they went on a mission to the Flagstaff area of Arizona to, quote, civilize the, quote, tribes found there. While there, Caesar led a group of warriors to win, and they kept Caesar around. They started quoting Caesar around him, like original Roman Caesar around him, and they eventually all started role-playing the Roman Empire until it became not a role-play and just actually how they lived. And in all of this, Joshua Graham was his, like, right-hand man. He was, like, ordering women and children to be killed and worse because of Caesar's orders. He was the right-hand man for him. His, like, top general, this general who was known for his ruthlessness, until a battle at Hoover Dam, I think, or something like that, where the Legion lost to the New Republic badly. And Caesar, as punishment for Joshua Graham's failure, set him on fire and kicked him off the edge of a cliff. And in the lore,
classic Roman Empire stuff.
yeah,
You know?
and in the lore, Joshua Graham is, like, famously very hard to kill. Like, he had multiple attempts on his life, multiple, like, near-death experiences, but nothing killed him. And this was the same. He was lit on fire, fell down a cliff, landed, and lived. And he dragged himself up to, like, southern Utah, where he hid out with some people there, and basically turned his life around and it was like, I am going to get back to my religious roots and try to be a better person and try to improve myself. And to me, I just love a story. I'm a sucker for a good redemption arc. I love when there are these people who have done these terrible things who recognize that they are terrible and recognize that people may not forgive them for that. But despite all that, they are going to try to be better. And they're going to try to make a difference for the positive now. And I just love stories like that. And so to be told that a character who has my name, who is now a magic card, is like that, I'm like, I'm in, dude. This is incredible. I love this guy. I'm in.
So, funny enough, two things. You're gonna really like a character in the Stormlight Archive. I won't tell you who.
Oh, I started that
that.
this morning, by the way, at work.
Nice. And then the second thing is kind of related tangentially. I finally started watching the Fallout show today.
Oh yeah, how's that?
And it is really good.
It is really good.
It is like randomly very comedic without really trying to be.
It's kind of how Fallout
due to the
is,
fact
though.
of like,
I mean, just the games too.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's
Right.
so good. The show is incredible. Okay, but how did you feel?
it's so good.
Maybe we'll talk about this more after your next question. But I've got some questions
Right.
for you because we'll debrief about this after we're done with the questions because the Fallout show was incredible.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to this last question so we can rant about the Fallout show.
Okay.
Nate, you had the last question for us. What do you
Yeah.
got?
So, last question we have for today is I want to talk about some of our cards that we thought were going to be great and ended up being dog water, or cards that were like, oh, this card looks okay, but then it ends up being ridiculously good and kind of over the top. So, just kind of an idea of this is when they released the first set of scene boxes, there was the 3-color Galadriel, and I'm like, okay, she looks like she could be okay. She could look like a pretty decent value commander. But then she got to a point where when I busted her out, unless I got stacks out of the game or focused real hard, I just kept winning, and she just overperformed past my wildest dreams. Super strong commander when you build her right.
That's awesome.
she's crazy.
Yeah, she looks really fun.
Yeah.
I've been interested. I'm always interested in Lord of the Rings cards, like from the
Yeah.
beginning. I would say a card that disappointed me, and it goes back to I just misread the card and misunderstood how it worked, was for my Davros Dalek Creator deck. And Davros, the way he works is at the beginning of your end step, each opponent who has lost 3 or more life if an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn, I make a 3/3 with Menace. And for each opponent who lost 3 or more life this turn, either they discard a card or I draw a card. And so the deck I tried to fill with ways to deal 3 damage to each opponent on my turn so that on my end step they'd all face the choice of do they discard or I draw. And one of the cards I looked at that looked really good was Perforating Artist. It is from Foundations. It's 1, a black and a red for a 3/2 Death Touch that says Raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attacked this turn, each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices the non-land permanent of their choice or discards a card. And I read that as being, oh, this is incredible because I can make them lose the 3 life and then it will work for Davros and make me get more cards as well, or make them discard cards, the trigger from the raid. And then I put it into play, and then I realized, oh yeah, if both of them are triggering at the start of the end step, that means that by the time the life loss has gone off for the raid, I don't think it technically triggered. I don't think it worked in the way I wanted it to, where I could still get the life loss and have them fulfill the requirements for Davros, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Because Davros is a if it happened, then it triggers.
Yes.
Whereas
So
in the other one, it would have missed the chance to see the damage happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong, and like I'm totally misunderstanding this, in which case somebody please correct me because I really think this card is great. But yeah, it was basically a rules misunderstanding that I thought this card was going to be so much better, and in fact it was so much worse.
That's fair.
Yeah. No. For me, I think honorable mention, or the only thing I can really think of at the moment, is Danny Pink from Doctor Who. Doctor Who, not Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll get there.
Yeah. My Dorothy deck's gonna go hard. All right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So Daddy Pink is a 4 mana, 3 colorless and a blue. He has Mentor. He's a 4/3, and creatures you control have whenever one or more counters are put on this creature for the first time each turn, draw a card.
Yeah.
Which in the Gladriel deck that Mr. Nate was talking about earlier, when you go wide and you can flicker him or give a counter to all your creatures very easily, you draw a ton of cards. I didn't realize that it was creatures you control have, and so it's a lot better than I initially thought it was.
Yeah.
That's fair. Another card that I really like that does a similar thing that I feel like is criminally underplayed, especially with the go wide token kind of strats, is Plum the Forbidden. It was a card that originally came out in Strixhaven. It's an instant for 1 and a black that reads, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. But it has another text on there. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy the spell for each creature sacrificed this way.
Yes. Super good card.
So you get Artificial Storm off of this thing, and it has been fantastic. Oh, we're gonna board wipe, cast this, draw 6 cards real quick for 2 mana and 6 life.
No, it's such a good card. I have it in an Endrick Sar deck where it's like, oh, I've got 6 thralls. Okay, pay 2 mana, 6 life, draw 6 cards.
Yeah, well, 7 because you get the initial
7.
copy
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. No, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. I will say, I think the best place to find a lot of these underassuming cards is by playing a commander that's a bit under the radar. Because often you will find these cards that don't look super incredible, but then play very powerfully with that commander. I think this goes back to our topic from a few weeks ago of cards that are bad in most places, but one commander makes incredibly strong. They're cards that just don't look that great, but when one commander gets their hands on it, it's super good. Famous example, Mono Blue Urza and Winter Orb. And Winter Orb in most decks is not going to be a great play unless you're sort of messing with your land somehow or are using other ways to tap for mana. But Mono Blue Urza just says, okay, I'll just tap it for a mana before or at the end of the player's turn right before me, and then I get to untap everything. But you guys don't. It's just simple stuff like that, where the card doesn't look as good, but one guy will really, turn it up and make it incredible.
Right. Have I told you guys about the funny idea I wanted to do with Urza and Winter Orb?
No. I don't think there is anything funny about Urza and Winter Orb.
Yeah, those two words do not go together.
So it is funny for flavor-wise. So I would love, especially since he's gone down a whole lot more now, to have an Urza altered to be Goku from Dragon Ball Z and run all the orbs in the deck. And then have all the orbs be altered to be Dragon Balls.
That is funny.
And so it's funny. It sucked to play against, but it's also hilarious to be like, yes, I'm assembling my power to get my wish of winning the game.
Yeah, I didn't realize how cheap Urza had gotten.
Yeah,
he's like less than $15 on most of his printings.
Yeah, reprints will do that.
His most expensive one is $50.
He gets like 3 versions. Yeah,
That's crazy.
When you get a reprint and then you get a normal version, an alt-art version, a different border version, a portrait version, it helps drive the price down.
Or no, I guess his most expensive version is $227, and that's the Mystery Booster Future Sight frame, which I do love. Classic Mark Teeden art. It looks really good. Yeah, that's sweet.
Those arts are sick.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anything else for this question, or are you guys ready to move on?
I am good.
Any other cards off the top of my head?
Yeah, no, I'm
sure I could come up with more, but I think that's a good spot for it.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting here to the end of the episode. I would ask if we have anything to chat about, but now I want to chat about the Fallout show.
Yeah.
Because, Nate, I don't know how much you saw going into it, but what was your reaction to the end of the first episode? Because to me, that was like the coldest open to a show I have ever watched. And I was like, this is nuts.
So I had seen very little about, I knew about Lucy, I knew about the ghoul, I knew about a bunch of different characters and kind of a little bits about their story, because I have seen a couple things about the show, but nobody talks about the end of episode 1, at least from the stuff I was seeing.
Oh, dude,
they were talking about, the characters.
Yeah, it's such a like chilling scene.
For me though, I did call it from almost the jump of the like, oh, we're meeting up for this thing. Oh, this is probably what's going to happen, just because they did put in hints that that's kind of
Yeah.
what's going on,
Yeah, I mean, you can
and it kept
understand that
giving.
that's what might happen, but to actually watch the scene is just crazy.
Yeah.
The
Also,
fork in the eye.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
her reaction was one of my favorite in the episode. It's just, let me steal that and go to town.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of trying to avoid spoilers for a show that's been out for a couple years now, and the second
Season 2
season's
just coming out.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of good
See how many
shows coming
episodes
out
got
with
for
good
it?
seasons this year. I'm
Already
excited.
on episode
I'm a big
6,
fan
season
of
2.
Ella Purnell as well, the main character in Fallout.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
such a fun character.
She's really good.
She did the voice of Jinx in Arcane,
Yep.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if you guys haven't
And a
watched
few other
Arcane,
small things
watch
as
it.
well.
Yeah,
Arcane
Arcane
phenomenal.
definitely gets a high praise to me. Like
Yeah, even if you don't,
yeah,
even if you don't like League of Legends, watch Arcane.
yeah, the story's
You
so
do
good.
not need to know anything about League.
If you're the kind
Just
of
watch the
person
show.
who appreciated the fact that the Spider-Verse movies had a non-traditional animation style, you will love Arcane. Arcane has such a
Yeah.
unique animation to it. It's so beautiful. And while I really do love Arcane, can I just say, I do think it was more appropriate that Fallout won that award over Arcane, because I think Fallout's a little bit better.
For season 2, I would argue yes. Season 1 of Arcane, absolute masterpiece. I think that would win out of Fallout.
Yeah, I don't
100%.
know. I don't
Season
know.
2 Arcane, though, which was what it was up against, not nearly as good as season 1.
No, this was when both were season 1 and season 1. Season 2 of Arcane hadn't
Was
come
it?
out at that point. Yeah. Yeah, it was season 1 of Arcane versus season 1 of Fallout. And Fallout won.
I see. Yeah, I see your
Mm.
argument though. Like gameplay wise, or like closer adaptation of a game, Fallout definitely is more. Like League of Legends is nowhere
for
close to whatever Arcane is compared to like Fallout to Fallout the game. Yeah,
The closest we have to that is the Echo fight, the Echo Jinx fight.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
That's the closest we have to actual
Chef's
League of
kiss.
Legends play.
That was an
There's
awesome
no
scene.
minions in sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see the argument for like best video game adaptation.
Being Fallout,
I can see it. Yeah, but I think show
story-wise-
quality wise, I think Arcane
Yeah.
season 1 is just some of the greatest cinema I've seen. So,
No, it was
It's
really good.
ridiculous.
And so,
And
can
then
I say, we got Fallout Season 2 this year, and I am also
Uh-huh.
excited because this year I get a movie that I've been really excited for coming out. Project Hail Mary will be out this year.
Oh,
I'm
hell
very
yeah.
excited. And then in March, I think, is when they're going to start rolling out the Season 4 of Invincible, which I'm very excited for.
Ooh, Invincible is a fun one. To watch, too.
I
gotta
love
catch up.
Invincible. It's
very
been so
gory.
cool.
But
It's
it
Yeah.
is good.
yeah. If you're not ready for it, it's animated like the old Ben 10 show, not the newest one, but like the old one, right? And it looks just like that, right? And you're like, oh, it's just a superhero show, right? And the
cool,
ending of
yeah.
episode 1 is the
End of episode
bloodiest, goriest thing I've seen in a long time, and it caught me way off guard, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh! Like, it is an
like,
animated level
kinda like
of
it.
what The Boys aspires to,
So-
that Amazon Prime show. The
Yeah,
Boys.
yeah.
It's
Funny enough,
vicious.
when that first season came out, I was still working just supported living, and the guy I worked with, I had Prime, and
Mhm.
the whole thing is like, hey, if you're doing stuff with them, like if you're watching it with them, it's fine. You know, if you're not spending all
Awesome.
day watching stuff. So this guy also likes a lot of the same stuff we like. So I was like, hey, you want to watch Invincible? And we're watching Invincible. He's an adult. He's like 25. Don't come at me.
25 adult. Sir, I like a word. I am like 28 and I don't feel like an adult at all.
I
So
know.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, I'm not showing kids Invincible.
yeah. Okay,
That's my whole thing. But we're watching it, and then that scene comes on, and both of us just look at each other, and we're just like, "What?"
Like,
And then we
wait
go
a
back to
second.
watching it because it's so like mesmerizing.
Oh, it's so good, dude. It's so good. Oh,
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
good shows coming out.
Right?
If there's one show that I think every single person should watch right now, it is Andor, Star Wars Andor.
See, I need to watch Andor.
It
I've
is
heard a lot of good things about it.
I still need to
the
watch it.
best show of Star Wars I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the best piece of Star Wars media to ever come out, even better than the original trilogy.
See,
Wow.
It is
I
phenomenal.
really want to watch a lot of TV series. Like, I'm even interested in the Percy Jackson series on Disney. Like, I think it looks really good, and we've been watching. We're on season 2 right now with my wife, and we've enjoyed it.
Mm.
But my problem is I don't just
It's pretty good.
watch TV. Right when I'm upstairs editing or playing other games while my wife's at work, I don't just sit and watch TV because I have this thing. I don't know if you want to call it ADHD or whatever, because I don't think I have that, but we'll see. I need active entertainment, not passive entertainment, is how I put it. I can't just
I have
sit.
passive entertainment with my active entertainment.
Yeah. I have to
That's my
mix it.
ADHD.
I think my most ADHD moment I've ever had. I got called out by my sister, Melly, who was living with us at the time. A Destiny 2 raid race was on, so I had that on my laptop, but they were all muted because they were like talking. It was one of the teams that was like in the top 5 to win, so they were like muting so they don't show off strategy. And I was watching a TV show at the same time, and then I was also on my Nintendo Switch playing Pokemon Pearl. and then I think I had my phone out too because I was just like
Jeez.
grinding a shiny on Pokemon. And so I had like 4 screens in front of me, and Melly just walks by and goes, "No, you have ADHD," and left. And I was just like, "Wait, no, no, I don't."
The ADHD
Yeah,
life.
If I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, you got some stuff going on here.
Yeah, and I haven't done that before or again since, but like I can't just sit and watch a show. Like I need to be doing something as well, right? Like I need to be
Right.
playing something, making something, whatever, right? Like I love watching a show if I'm like building a Lego set or working on a project, right? Like sometimes I would bring down all my cards and build a deck while we were watching a movie, right? I just want to be doing a thing with my hands instead of just passively watching a movie.
That's fair.
If I'm not doing something, it becomes a problem because in like movie theaters, I am the guy who will sit there, and because I'm not doing anything with my hands, I just have all this energy that I will just shout, or not shout, but like talk to the people next to me and make quips about the movie. And like, yeah, no, people don't like me for that, and I get it. That's not right. But like,
if you're quiet, I don't care. Like I do that too with my brothers.
It mostly happens when I hate the movie and when I'm not enjoying it. Like my cousins and brothers dragged me out to go see the Minecraft movie, and we were the only ones in the theater, so I was making jokes the whole time because that is a dumpster fire of a movie. Dude, that's fun to watch at 2 a.m.
If you guys have never been alone in a movie theater, just you,
it is
so much fun.
It's the best.
I had the most fun watching a bad movie with one of my best friends in a theater, just us two.
Yeah.
We had a blast. It was fantastic. Also, we were like 15-year-old boys, so we had extra fun, but it's a blast.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, good stuff coming out this year. Well,
yep.
I'm excited for it. A lot of good media. It's good. It'll be a good year. I mean, we had a killer year for video games last year. Like one of the best we've had in a long time. And this year's shaping up to already have some heat. We've got a Silksong DLC. We've got Fable coming back. Like, we've got some heat coming this year.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to get the level of Silksong and Expedition 33.
Right, yeah. I mean, Fable could do it. If Fable has the hype to be a Baldur's Gate 3 level game, right? Like, whether or not it will actually be that, it is as hyped, I think, because of the level of the RPG that is available to you and the depth that they are advertising. To me, feels like it might hit that Baldur's Gate 3 mark.
As somebody who has played the games, the Fable games, all of them at least twice, Fable 1 and Fable 2, a dozen times or so, I haven't. I'm gonna get burned at the stake for this. I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 just because I know I'm gonna get so much time dumped into it when I do that it's gonna make me cry.
That's fair.
don't think Fable is going to have the same depth of variety and things that you can do as Baldur's Gate 3. It's going to have a lot of different things you can do and a lot of cool stuff you can do, but I could be proven wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong because I love Fable, but I don't think it's going to be on the same level as Baldur's Gate 3. And then the storytelling of Expedition 33 is so good. The story in that game is so good. And I love the fan base for not spoiling anything for it, because there's some big spoilers that you could get off on there, but I didn't see any of them going into the game.
Yeah. There's sometimes in the gaming community where there is a large spoiler in a game and nobody will talk about it like ever. Normally, I'd say there's like a 2 to 3 year window with most media where if you haven't seen it, the spoiler will just start circulating and that's it. You're just going to get it spoiled. Yeah. One of those situations I think is really interesting if you've played Warframe. Warframe has this mid-story spoiler in it that nobody talks about. Nobody's willing to talk about it. You go on the community and they will like mark their posts as spoiler if it's something to do with the story after this major point. And this is an old game that people have just held on to and said, we will not show you what happens. You just have to play it. And to me, that is incredibly impressive. I'm not going to ruin it, obviously. If you want to know what it is, go play the game. It's got some decent story. The game as a whole is a cluster truck of an action shooter. But if you want to see what it is, you'll just have to go looking for it. I'm not going to be the guy who ruins it for everyone, I don't want the whole community after me.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
Anybody else got anything?
I've got a heart and a soul.
Me too. All
right. Well, then as we get to the end of the episode here, I just want to say thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you for having your questions that we can answer. Well, if you've noticed, we've spent a little bit of time in the last couple episodes pulling from situations and people looking for advice on Reddit. We're doing that just as a way to supplement the questions we are getting from you guys. So if you have questions you want sent to us, or if you're scrolling through Reddit and you see something that we might be able to help with, tag us in that post or send us that post on Reddit. If you have a question for us, you can send it over to us at manabonded@gmail.com. We'll take any and all submissions there. If you like the music at the start and end of every episode, that music is done by Steve Brown. You can find his music over at stevebrownsongs.com. The art for our podcast is done by Shadow Echopex. His work is at the link in the description. We have a link tree to find all of our social media links. You can find our Twitter, our Instagram, our Blue Sky, and we will get that updated this week because we do have an active Reddit account, so we will get that added to the link tree as well.
Pew, pew.
Anything else you guys want to add?
I was just going to say, feel free to throw questions at us on those other platforms as well.
Absolutely.
In comments and messages. We would love to hear them.
I can't promise we'll catch those questions that you throw, but I'll try my best. I only have nubs for hands at this point.
He's down a couple fingers after what happened.
I'm trying my best here.
So
yeah,
we gotta get those three.
It is. Yeah,
we need.
I gotta get them sewed back on.
Yeah, we gotta get the flying robot from Fallout to reattach those fingers.
Yep. All right.
The poop finger, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next week.
Okay, bye.
So, side note, I'll put this in the bloopers or something. I was watching a video the other day.
You're a blooper.
Just classic British humor. This guy standing on one of those like train overpasses. It's like a brick bridge above a train tracks. And he's getting ready to jump. And the train conductor comes up, or like an engineer comes up, and he says, "Hey, don't do it." And he's like, "You can't stop me." And the train engineer's like, "You're making a mistake." And the guy on the bridge is like, "You can't tell me what to do. I've got nothing left. She left me. She took everything. I've got nothing left to live for." And he's like, "No, you don't understand. This rail line is down for maintenance. It won't be back up for 3 more weeks. There's no trains on this track." And the guy just goes, "Oh." And he's like, "But we are offering a replacement bus service." and then it cuts to the guy who was about to jump laying on the ground, and the engineer just like backing a bus up over him.
Nice.
A little bit of anti-humor, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
classic
Didn't see that
British
coming.
humor.
Oh, okay.
That
Classic.
reminds me of a weird movie where Daniel Radcliffe, the guy who played Harry Potter, was in a movie where his character got guns bolted to his hands.
Yes, I've
And
seen
he's like, I'm going to
Guns
shoot
akimbo.
myself in the face. And this homeless guy's like, hold on, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. He's like, why? What do you think I've left for? He's like, no, you don't want to do that because your angle is all wrong. You're just going to blast off your face. And then you're still going to be depressed because you have a screwed up face. You want to go for like the back of the head, like right underneath. He's like, you know an
Like, you're
awful lot
doing it
about this. He's
wrong.
like,
Yeah.
Been there. I'd say done that, but I haven't done that because I'm still here. But I've been
Right.
Yep.
there. Is Blooper the name of the little squid in Mario?
Yes, it is. I think it's Blooper.
Nice. That's all. I don't know what that contributed.
Okay.
Just thinking about Blooper as a
Yeah, just think
Yeah.
about Blooper. You know,
Yeah.
he's always on my mind. He's a little squid guy. You know, just
Just
Yeah.
the
inking his way through
Wolverine
my
meme
brain.
of Zack laying in bed holding the picture of Blooper.
There we go.
Yeah.
Blooper.
the name.
And
Yeah.
I was also going to say,
Yeah.
like, you know, even if you know, not everyone can become super jacked fairy like Jorgen von Strangle. So it's a little bit easier to
True.
be the guy from Jurassic Park, and he says, or you can make like one of those like that's easy buttons and just record it to say, and then every time they do that, you just click the button.
Have you seen those videos
Oh, yeah.
of the people and their dogs who like use those to communicate?
Yep.
Yeah.
My favorite one is the one where the dog is like pushing the button that says treat, want treat. And the owner is like, no, I'm not giving you a treat. I just gave you one. And the dog goes over and presses a button that calls him a swear word.
Yeah. Goes bitch.
Yeah, it's just like, it's the funniest thing to me. The dog is like, hey man, screw you.
One of my favorites, actually, is this guy who has a cat, and he's purposely giving the buttons that have the meaning of like the normal ones, but he does it in like a mean way. And I think I've seen a couple. So it's like, I'm hungry, bitch. And it's like these kind of
Amazing.
phrases instead of like one word. Instead of like hungry, they'll be like super abrasive, super, vulgar. And the guy just like nonchalant's like, all right, cool, fine, whatever. And the cat doesn't know any different. Or
Yeah.
the dog doesn't know any different. They're just like, this means I'm hungry.
Yeah, it is really funny. And like, I'd like to do it, but I have a feeling my dog would absolutely be the kind of dog who just swears at me and calls me names. And I
Yeah.
don't want to deal with that, okay?
I don't need that in my life right now, okay?
No, my dog's
also-
sassy enough as it is.
You don't need the dog just pushing buttons all night long.
Yeah.
Ooh. You can train Bailey to push the buttons.
All right, well, that's not me. I'm glad that's
Or
post.
she'll train
You-
you to push the buttons.
Now, I'm
You
so
can,
glad that's post recording. Holy.
You can suggest it and then watch.
She's
the
asleep
button
already.
be pushed
What
right
are you
then.
She's already asleep by this point. What are you talking about?
Bet, Zach.
We're good.
I'm going to put this at the end of the episode and we'll see what happens. We'll see how she feels about that joke there, buddy. She